going on YouTube? Today I'm gonna be showing y'all just, the correct ways to do a back taper. A mid taper on the back. As you can see, he's growing. Right now, he has a lot of curls at the top. His curls at the top are longer than, the back and the sides and anything, and everything. But he's letting the sides grow up to catch up with the curls up top. So we're gonna be working with this all right here, and I'm gonna show y'all how to fade into all this bulk, just in case y'all client does come in and wants to grow. I guess you would say it's undercut to his hair up top. So I'm gonna show y'all the steps and processes. Easy steps, easy processes to get a nice and clean back tape. All right, dealing with hair like this, what you want to do, first thing you want to do is, because it's disconnected and it's not all grown in yet at one time. Off camera, I did cut his hair down an inch to a certain, an inch. I ain't gonna say a certain, because we know the exact length, which would be an inch. And all you want to do is clip all this hair like so. So all this hair won't be too bushy or whatever, whenever you're going in and doing what you need to do. Zoom the camera out a little bit. Boom. And we're gonna put our other clips in there. This I got 4 clips because his hair is no longer, it could go on like a bun or something like that, but we're just gonna clip it up this time. And this is what we're left with right here. And as you can see, all the hair underneath is growing. It's slowly growing. But he's gonna get a high taper on this side, mid taper on the back, high taper on this side. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get a number 3 guard. I don't necessarily know what all this is. It's probably like a number 8 guard or whatever. But we're gonna get a 3 guard. We're not gonna go up too high because we want it in this one area right here. And we're gonna go with the level all the way close, and we're gonna go down. Well, with the grain. And this is basically debulking everything. This is debulking everything so we can see exactly what we're doing. With hair like this is where you want to bring in the flick out motion that everyone talks about. Not every haircut you have to flick. When you're only going into hair up top or a lot of bulk up top, that's when you start to flick. You don't necessarily have to flick with everything that you do. Now, we're going to just simply create our first guideline. We're going to do it our level all the way closed like this, with no guard, and just go up. But right there, it is easier to do it like this, as this doesn't create any guidelines whenever you're setting this in with no guard. Or no, not the trimmers. It might have some hair linger over the line, but it's okay. It is okay. Now the second thing we're gonna do is the 3 guard with the lever all the way open. Down a little bit more. And we're just gonna start the flick out process. As we get higher into right here, we start low, and then as we get higher, we flick out. We're not riding the hair like this or riding his head shape. We're actually flicking out. Normally, you will fade like this, with the blade flat like this. But we're trying to create weight, or preserve this weight up here because he is growing everything out. But we're not going to just slightly flick out like this. We're going to flick out an exaggerated flick out like this. And as you can see, it's preserving all of this weight right here, so he can grow it out and he can catch up to the top of his head. And while we're doing this, we're creating a shape. The shape of his own, back taper. And that's really it right there when it comes to this over-exaggerated flick out. And we are using a 3 guard with the lever all the way open. Now, since we got that out the way, we're going to start with our lever all the way open. And we're going to create that second guideline. And we're going up about a 1/2 inch. Just because he wants to preserve, or we have only so much space before we get to all this bulk right here. And then we have to, since we use the 3 guard up top, we know to fade down we have to use a 2 guard the 1.5 guard, the 1 guard, and maybe the half guard if needed. And we're just gonna slowly close the notch or the lever till all of this is faded out. And we're starting going from the top of our fade that we just created, or the top of our guideline that we just created. We're gonna slowly close it, and each time we go down, or each time we close the lever, we're slowly going down inside of the fade as well. Every time you close the lever, you should never fade where you've recently been fading at. Unless you close the clipper halfway and you use the sides or the corners and you start the detail. That's the only way or only reason y'all should be going back up in the fade. Or touching the fade again. A lot of people have different fading methods to where it's kind of confusing. You go, you fade all this, create all these guidelines, and you go back in the fade and you refade it all over again. It's basically just a waste of time. So I'm showing y'all the easier way. I'm showing y'all the easier way. Now we got our 2 guard, and we always start, when we first start our fading down process, we always start with the lever all the way open. And with the 2 guard, you still want to flick out. Still want to flick out. And you're flicking into that 3 guard area that we created. And then you want to walk your way down from that. So close the lever a little bit. Go down within the fade, still keeping our flick out motion. Close the lever a little bit more. Go down in the fade, flick out motion. Close a little bit more, flick out. And what my wall scenes have a 4-click lever system that I like to, make up inside my head, because this isn't no lever click system. So now we're at the final step, and we're with it all the way closed. We're flicking out. Now we're gonna move to our half guard right here. And wherever we left off with the 2 guard, we're still keeping the same flick out motion. Wherever we left with the 2 guard, that's what we're gonna pick up with this half guard. Now we're gonna move on to the 1 guard spot. But before we move on to the 1 guard spot, we're going to detail a little bit within inside of this 2 area. When we detail, now we at our 1.5 spot, because we just worked down with our from our 2 guard, or 3 guard to 2 guard to 1.5. We're going to close our half guard halfway, and we're going to use the corners. And every little dark spot that we see, or every little clump or cluster of hair, we're just going to slice into it. And as we're slicing into it, this is called detail. Detailing basically is moving any clumps or clusters of hair fur to make the blend a lot more smooth. You don't want to use the whole entire blade, because that will only push the fade up. You'll create a whole new guideline. Wherever you left off with the half guard, start flicking out with the 1 guard. And you do the same exact processes. Very simple, very easy. And to have a nicer outcome or look on the taper, you want to make sure everything is set evenly. Whenever you fade, you don't want to fade the right side or the right side more than you do the left side or anything like that. You want to make sure everything is even. Whatever you're doing on this left side, you're also doing it on the right side. Close it a little bit, go down in the fade. Make sure you're still flicking out. Down in the fade, flicking out. We're slightly flicking out now. And he does have hair that's going towards this way, so I have to physically fade towards this direction or flick out. A lot of people that y'all may come across may have hair textures like that. Now we're all the way closed. And we're just hitting this bottom line. But the 1 guard all the way closed won't necessarily get this line all the way out of here. But before we move to the half guard, that's the half guard area, we're going to close it halfway. Detail. And then 1.5 spot. Now we're going to start with a half guard, and we always want to start with the level all the way open, just like we did with every other guard. We're just gonna flick out at this bottom line right here. Flick out at it. Make sure you're flicking out on the right side too, as much as the left side, in the middle. Close a little bit. And you're really just doing it till this bottom line is gone, or somewhere gone. Then you can start detailing in this area with no guard, with the level all the way open. Or you can do it halfway open and detail like that. Detail on the one area spot. With hair texture like this, people get kind of worried and scared because it is more finer hair texture, and one wrong move, kind of almost like straight out, one wrong move and you know all the hair or the blend looks gone or it can disappear. Now we're going to detail. And that is it right there. What we're about to do, I'm about to show y'all how to do the neck lineup, because the neck lineup is with a back lineup is very important when y'all doing this. But I'm gonna finish I do all the tapers first, all the fading first, and then I set it in the lines. So we're gonna finish the fades and whatever, and then we're gonna show y'all how to correctly put in these back lines so the taper could look, I guess, clean or nice. For this side hair right here, I sectioned it a little bit. Now we're gonna cut all this down with the level all the way closed with a 1.5. We're not gonna dig into it. We're just gonna get these little hairs right here. We're gonna do that same thing to the other side. Alright, now what we're about to do, we're about to get some holding spray, and we're about to spray this right here. Just a tad bit, not too much. Boom. Do that side. We're gonna turn around to this side, do the same exact thing. Don't wanna add too much. Boom, that's it. Now we're gonna get our blow dryer, blow dry it on. So the back taper is important to establish your lines correctly or the same on both sides, just so it can be a nicer and a cleaner taper. I mean, the hair is so, you know, kind of thick. It's thicker than most hairs. Get your clippers. It's kind of like the most, you know, sharpest or whatever, or somewhat sharp. Kind of tip your head down right there, so it can set in those lines. And I do like to do mine on a curve. To get behind the ears, what you want to do, I switch trimmers. These are more sharper than the other ones. You just want to hold it down with your pointer fingers. And then go around the curve. Whenever we're setting in this side, you seeing where this line goes right there? You have to make sure it's exactly the same thing on this side. With that right there, it's gonna take the haircut kind of to like a whole new level as it would have. So start from the back, look at this side, angle your clipper, and then set in the line that you would think that would be the correct, you know, angle or whatever. And give yourself some wiggle room. And by that, like if you're not sure, go a little bit more away from the inside of the hair, because you can always cut hair away, but you can never you know, get it back or whatever. So going from the back, looking at it from the back, seeing that both sides are equal or even, and then if they look even, just continue on throughout the whole entire haircut, making these lines. So this is the taper rug right here. Nice, clean, simple taper that anybody can understand. And this is just a simple video breaking down like the neck lineup and the taper. Just so y'all, the reason why I do this is just so I'm just breaking down each segment of the haircut. Like one side I might do, you know, one video I might do, you know, this side of the taper, or I might do the left side of the taper, I might do both sides, or I might just do the back taper. Really just sectioning the whole entire hair. Or one day I might just do a straight lineup tutorial about just the back lineup and not the front lineup. Just to show, you know, once you get all these little pieces together, once you perfect all these little pieces, all these different, once you break them down to segments and categories and this and that, and then the top and then fading into the top, y'all can bring all this together, and no matter who y'all kind of have inside y'all shop, whoever comes or whatever, you know, you would know how to do everything, and then you could just put everything together and come out with a nice, flushed, clean look. Show this side. Nice, simple. Hopefully my camera focus. with his HYB if you're not handling your business and what you're doing. And we out.